Hello, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is array of objects in JavaScript. So let's get started. We have separately learned about arrays in one of the previous sessions, and also we have separately learned about the objects in the previous sessions. You see, the array can contain any type of elements, including the objects. So what if an array contains the elements as the objects? And how to work with that, I'm going to cover in this session. So to get started, I'll launch the Visual Studio Code and as a quick recap, I'll show you how to create an array, how to create an object at a high level, okay? So let's go back to the small basics or small recap of this arrays and objects first, and then I'm going to show you how to add these objects as element to this array and how to work with them. Okay, fine. So let me do one thing here, arrays hyphen demo dot js, and here I'll create an array. Let ar is equal to, in square bracket, I'll give the elements 9 comma 5 comma 7 comma 2 comma 8. Okay, like that some elements I give. Now, if I want to access these elements, how to access them? AR of 0. This will access the element which is at the index 0. If I write AR of 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 2 will be accessed. Okay, here 9, here 2. So run this code, node space arrays hyphen demo dot js. If I run this, you see 9 and 2 got retrieved and printed. Okay, so this you already know about the arrays, right? Arrays will contain a list of elements. It can be normal numerical elements like this or different literal elements it can have, and we can access them using their index that you already know. So I covered about these arrays in detail in the previous sessions. If you go back to the previous session, somewhere here I covered about the arrays. You see, arrays and using length and for loop with arrays, using for of loop with arrays, array methods, arrow functions, and how to use this arrow function, different type of arrow functions with arrays, two-dimensional arrays. Lot of things I covered about the arrays in the previous sessions, right? So I'm not going to explain each and everything of them. So I just wanted to cover only this part as a quick recap. Now, next thing is about objects, objects demo. How to create objects in JavaScript. That also I covered in depth in the previous sessions only, right? So the concepts regarding the objects are also there. Here, you see, I covered about the objects and how to use for in loop with objects and all I covered in the previous sessions. And many other topics came here and there in between about the objects. Now, let me give an example of an object here. Okay, obj is equal to curly braces you have to give. And here you can write whatever you want. For example, I want like to write name, colon, double quotes, let me give Arun Moturi, my name. And then I'll write experience, colon, okay, 19, okay, then location, colon, let me give Hyderabad, and so on. You can give any number of properties. You can mention any number of properties. And if you want to access the properties from this property values from this object using the key names and their values if I want to. Okay, property name and property values are there. Using the property names if you want to access them. How to access console.log. I can write obj. The name of the object is obj. Let me do one thing. Okay. Here I can write obj dot. I can write name. This will get the name. Okay. If I say console.log obj dot experience, get the experience. Okay, and so on. And run this code and see. Sorry, this is not the one. Node space objects hyphen demo dot js. So we got the values of the properties of this particular object. So this is how this is a small recap of objects and this is a small recap of arrays, guys. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an array which contains the elements as objects, okay, whose elements are actually objects. Okay, I'm going to club these two concepts where I'm going to create an array where individual elements of the array are objects. So for that, let me write like this array objects dot js. Okay, and here let me write let ar or let write anything, that's okay. Okay, write anything. So let's say what I can write is let books is equal to, okay, let books is equal to, the array will have this kind of stuff, right? The array will have this kind of stuff, square brackets will be there. I would like to have some data, guys, okay? I don't want to think too much here. I just want to have the data of some books and, create them here. So for that, let me go to something like ChatGPT or something and get some data for the, I would like to, I would like you to list down, okay? Let's say some 10 books, 10 books related to finance, and also provide their author details, and also I would like you to list down 10 books related to finance and also provide their author details, and also provide their date of publishing. Okay, like this I'll write something. Yes, I'm getting some finance books, Intelligent Investor, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Random Walk Down Walk Street, Millionaire Next Door, okay, Life and Work, Common Stocks, and the Life Book of Common Sense. A lot of books we got, Psychology of Money, and many other books we have got, okay, Your Money on Your Life, okay, or Your Life. So many things are there here. We got some data, so I'll utilize this data to create these objects and all. So here what I'll say here is I would like to create how many objects. This first object I want to create, second object I want to create, third object I want to create, okay. I would like to create three objects here, okay. Here each and every element of this array is nothing but an object, okay. In this object I can just write like this, that's okay. Okay, to make it kind of easy I can write like this, or if I want it to get to the next line you can also get it like this also. This is also fine. The structuring will be easy here. So in this, you see book name, okay, name of the book, book name. What is the name of the book? Or simply say name of the book, okay, name colon intelligent investor, right? This is the book name, okay. Copy this and paste it like this, okay. Then put a comma inside this and or you can write in the straight format also, not a problem. Okay, so let's see if it's okay. We can put a comma here and write it. Okay. The next one is author. Okay, I'll write about author colon, and give the name of the author. Given a name of the author, guys, the author is Benjamin. The author name is Benjamin. Let me give in short format. Okay, Benjamin. That's okay. Then comma. Then published. Otherwise, year I'll say simply year, in which year it got published, 1949. Let me copy paste the data from here. This is one object I created. Okay, this is the first object, which is the first element of this array is the object. And if you don't want to keep the year, just keep the only the name and author for now, guys. I have a different plan for here. So colon name colon. Here we have another book known as Rich Dad Poor Dad. Let me copy paste this one and put author. Okay, who is author of this book? Robert Kiyosaki. I'll just write Kiyosaki. Okay, Kiyosaki is author, and then that's it. Now another object, the another one, psychology of money. The psychology of the money. I would like to give the psychology of the money here. Sorry, right. Psychology of the money, and in which year it got published? It got published in 2020. Okay, so otherwise author is, we'll go with author only, right? Not year. Okay, author is Morgan. Morgan is author. Like this, I create an array of objects. All good so far. Okay. If I want to add one more object, a few more objects into this newly created array, okay, while creating the array, you specified only two objects. But if you want to add more objects, what do you have to do? So you already have learned about this array concepts, right? There are different methods that we can, array methods are there. Like one of the method is push method that will add the object at the end of, add the element to the array at the end of the, okay, add the elements at the end of the array. Books dot push. Okay, if I write like this and inside this, I'll provide the, specify the element that I want to push at the end of this array. Okay, So here again, I'll give the curly brace and simply write down name, colon. The name of the book is what? Another book I'll take here this time. Let's go with something. The Millionaire Next Door is kind of easy to remember, right? So let's go here and, paste it here. Okay, then comma. Who is the author of this book? The author of this book is, okay, two authors are there. So Thomas, okay, Thomas I'll give for now. That's okay. Okay, so here, before pushing this, if I print the books array, only three objects will be there. But after pushing this, four objects will be there. Okay. So for now, before pushing, I'll just comment this part and before pushing any new objects into this array, the original array, how many objects are there will be printed here. Let's run like this and see. Okay, not this the one. This is array hyphen objects, right? Node space array hyphen objects.js. Run this. You see there are three objects. One, two, three. Total three objects are there, right? Total three objects are there. One, two, three. Right? Now, after pushing, if I take this from here and after pushing a new book, a new object, okay, then if I write like this and say clear, okay, now you will get four objects. Along with the new object, you are going to get four objects. You see, one, two, three, four you got, right? That's all good. Next. So one thing about is how to push and all, okay? And the next thing is I can push or I can add a new how to access, otherwise how to access okay, this is how we can push guys. If you want, really want, you can push it. And if you want to add some new properties, okay, let's keep only these three objects for now. And I would like to add a new property to this objects of this array. So what I will do in that case? What I have to do in that case? I have to say books square bracket in that zero. Zero means what? The first one. Zero means the first one. Okay. Books of zero means the first element of the array. This one. In that, I'll say dot year. What is the year it got published? What is the year in which it got published? 1949, right? Intelligent Investor is 1949. So Intelligent Investor 1949. So 1949 you give. Okay. Done. So what will happen to the first object? Another property known as year property will be added along with this name and author into this particular object of this array. Another property known as year with the value 1949 will be added. Okay, if I print like this now, like books and all, then run this code. You see the first object, for first object, another property is there. The remaining two objects doesn't have. If you still want this kind of year for remaining objects, you can use the same concept, guys. Books of one means this one. Dot year is equal to, you can give that. Okay. Books of two. Two dot year, if you say, it will add it to the third object. Okay. And so on. Anyhow, that's the concept. Okay. The next thing here is I want to access this objects. Okay. I would like to access this object. I would like to access this object. Instead of accessing all the objects by printing the entire array, I would like to only print this one. Okay. So for that, I'll write console.log. Here I'll write books of 1. 0. 0th index is the first object. First index is a second object. Okay. So let's run this and this time what will be printed? Only this second object will be printed, not the entire array. Only the second object which is at the index 1 will be printed. Run this. Sorry. Set. Let's run this here. So there is a problem. Books of 1. There is a problem. What is the problem here? Okay, there is a mistake. Just node space array hyphen objects dot js. You see, now we got it, right? We got the second object which is at the index 1. So if I want to uh, access all this, okay, for that we can use for in loop, or for off loop. Here for off, right? For off loop or for in loop, which loop we have to use here? Okay. So, or traditional for loop also we can use. Okay, traditional for loop also we can use. Int I is equal to index is equal to 0. I less than books dot length. Okay, the size of the array. Then I plus plus, and here you can write this, the traditional loop we can use, not a problem. You can also use traditional loop and many other things we can use. Okay. Books, square bracket, I. Okay. And then you can get anything. You want to get the, okay, you can write like this also. Books of I means also it is going to work. Sorry, here int should not be there. Let should be there. Okay. Let. Okay. I should declare with let. Okay. So then books of I, all the objects will be printed. So run this code and see that all the three objects got printed. But if you want to print only the name and let's say only the names if you want, then you have to say dot name. That's it. Only the names will be printed. Books of I dot name is only the names you will get. Okay. Then clear it. You see, only the book names you are getting. If you want to get only the authors, you can say author, or you can write like this also. Name plus written by plus books of I dot author. Like this also you can write. Okay. Then what will happen? Here it will be printed like this. Okay. The Intelligent Investor written by Benjamin. Rich Dad Poor Dad written by Kioski. Psychology of Money written by Morgan. Okay. So like this. And there are many other things that you can do with the array of objects, guys. Okay. There's a way. And for that, let me, go to the notes here. I have kept some notes here for reference. If in case I miss something, I would like to refer to these notes and explain the remaining parts for you. For that, let me open this notes here. So I covered about the what is an array, what is an object separately, array of objects, how to create also I showed you. Then yeah, how to add the you know separately if you want to add objects at the end of this array, how to do that using the push method I told you. Now how to access the properties of objects which are elements of the array I showed you. Then how to use a for loop, traditional for loop. You can also use for each loop also, guys. You can also use for each loop for each and every book. You can iterate. For that, what you can do here is instead of writing like this, you can write books dot for each. Okay, books dot for each. Let book is equal to for each and every thing. It will be done, right? Or you don't have to write anything here. Books dot for each. And in this, for each and every book in this array, what I have to do, I have to do, okay? For each and every book in the array, let's say this is a parameter of this function, arrow function. I covered about the arrow functions also in one of the previous sessions, guys, okay? If you understand this, you will understand what I am writing here, okay? So refer to the previous session if you want to understand this book. Then for each and every book, that means for each and, for example, this is a first book, okay? In that book, what do you want to do? In that book, what you want to do, console.log I want to write. Okay, I would like to write, don't put semicolon here. If you put semicolon, you have to give the curly braces here. Otherwise, you can write like this. Then you can simply write book dot name. Okay, that's it. For each and every book, it's going to print the name of the book. Okay, so this is one another way. This is the names of the books will be printed. Okay, you can also do something like this, written by same thing, okay, in very less number of lines. You see, with the traditional for loop it was taking good number of lines, but with this, right, it is taking very less number of lines, right? With the arrow function and this for each, we can reduce the number of lines. Okay, author, you see, then you will get a proper output also. Here also you see the book written by author, book written by author, book written by author. Okay, it's also coming. Then for which we can update an object in the array also, guys. If you want to update the something in the array, you can do that. Okay, so how you have to do here is, so let's do one thing here. How to update some property values of a particular object in this array. Further, you can do something. Books of, let's say in the one, at the index one means this object dot uh, author, author. I would like to update it to Robert Kiyosaki. Okay. Instead of Kiyosaki, I would like to change it to Robert Kiyosaki. Okay. Now, after updating like this, and if I run this code, you see, Robert Kiyosaki is coming. Okay. Instead of Kiyosaki, Robert Kiyosaki is coming. Okay. This how we can also update. And then adding a new property already shown you. This part I already covered. The next thing is filtering or searching, guys. Filtering or searching. Filtering or searching. Find the required thing. If it is found, you can print it out. So out of all this, I would like to print the book details whose author, okay, whose author is Kiyosaki, okay. Out of all these books, I would like to print the book details whose author is Kiyosaki. How to do that? How to do that, guys? I'll write like this, okay? I'll write like this. Books dot find, books dot find, and in that, here let book I'll say, let book or whatever you want write. You can write like this, okay? Let found or book or something, okay? So here you can write let book found, book found is equal to, here I'll write the arrow function you can write, okay? The arrow function, book dot find arrow function, and here I covered about the find method, okay? Find method or find function, okay? How to use a find function with arrays in JavaScript I already covered along with the arrow functions I covered. So be okay with, in the previous sessions I covered. If you have watched my previous sessions, you will understand what I am trying to do here. Here you have to put a condition, guys. After this arrow, you have to put a condition. That is book dot author, okay? Strict equal to, if it is Kiyosaki, that book, okay? So that book found will be there, and that particular book, if you print this entire details of the book whose author is Kiyosaki will be printed, guys. And here you can write console.log book found. Okay, if I run this, this particular object will be printed because the author, it will iterate through, it will find all the books and it will get the details of the book whose author is Kiyosaki. Okay, now run this code and run this, and you should get, you see, only the Kiyosaki author book details only will come. Remaining object details will not come. That's how we can use find, and you can use different methods, guys. Okay. So hope you got some idea how to use array of objects. Okay. As an elements of an array, you don't have to only provide non-object elements, but also you can provide object oriented elements also, like the way. Okay. Here elements of the array are objects. Okay. You can nest the objects inside an array, or you can make these objects as an elements of the array. Okay. So this is kind of example where people use this kind of thing in JavaScript. So it's a good thing to learn this combination also, okay, and understand how to create the arrays where each and every element of the array is an object. Apart from the normal elements, you can also make the objects as an array of the objects as elements of the array. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.